Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit. I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is Astro Tripper? This would be a spiritual sequel to a 2001 title by the name of Space Tripper. It's the same developers behind it, PomPom Games. I'm not really sure what they've been doing in the meantime. This one was released for PS3 and 360 and is also on PC. You can probably tell it's a 360 and PS3 port due to the way the menu is set out, which is identical to every other one of those games. Other options, see what we've got available. Standard display options. Nothing particularly fancy there. Not mouse-driven in any way, by the way. Sound options, once again, nothing special there. You can rebind the controls unless you want to use the Enter key. You're not allowed to do that because Enter confirms that the key has been selected. Go figure. It's a fairly terrible idea, all things considered. Rebind to this set right here. This sounds reasonable. Okay, fire weapon shift, flip direction alt, change weapon control. Okay, we'll give that a shot. I always have trouble finding keys that I like for these kind of games. Alright, so there is single player, which is it's a bit weird to say single player because that would imply there's also multiplayer, and there isn't. So you have two modes, adventure and challenge. Challenge is currently completely locked, which is kind of annoying because it doesn't actually tell you what you need to do in order to unlock them. Why? I don't know. If I was to guess, I would say that you complete the worlds to beat it, because there's 4 worlds, there's 4 challenges, logic dictates. But I could be wrong. Okay, here's the 4 worlds available here. Training grounds is all you've got available from the start. Now, you've got 3 difficulty modes, easy, hard, and hardest locked. For the purposes of this demonstration video, I'm going to go with easy. I may ramp it up if it ends up being a little bit too simplistic. Okay, right, and I've got to get used to these controls because I've changed the set. I did try the tutorial mission just to kind of get a feel for it. Loading times are quite significant, it would appear, which is surprising considering, honestly, it's not a particularly crazy game in terms of requirements or anything like that. Why on earth is it taking so long? Huh. That's weird because it wasn't doing this earlier. Maybe it's something to do with fraps. Okay, I'm going to have to stop fraps for a second. Why, yes, it was in fact something to do with fraps. For instance, the game will not load if fraps is currently running. That's awkward. Looks like... Ah, God, okay, that's not a power-up. Never mind. Yeah, that really is awkward. Why would that be the case? I have absolutely no idea. Okay, so the idea is you're stuck on this platform, which is incredibly inconvenient, all things considered. Not sure why you drove onto there in the first place. Perhaps you didn't know you were going to get stuck horribly. Now, you have 2 different weapons available. You've got a split attack and a normal laser. If you hold the button down, then you fire slower and slower. So this is not a spam fest at all. Weapon power-ups right there. Even on easy, this is actually quite tricky. It's kind of weird getting used to the controls as well, honestly. There we go, get ourselves a weapon power-up. Should make things a little bit simpler. I might stick to a split shot for the time being. Was that a I don't know if that's a power-up or something that's trying to kill me. What the hell is that? I don't know if you actually heard that, but the game's bleeping at me. Yes, that is very odd indeed. This game seems to have some fairly serious problems. What on earth? Something to do with repeatedly hitting the same key on the keyboard. I don't even have filter keys on, so I don't know why that would be the case. Well, that is really awkward, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to try and survive another 28 seconds, if it's all possible. And preferably not die, that would be nice. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Please stop bleeping at me. God, I hope this isn't on the video. I really do. As I don't know why this game would make my computer behave in this way. As I say, this game does seem to have some fairly serious issues. There we go. Alright, first level has been completed. It really is as simple as that. Can't say I'm particularly impressed by the lack of music. Let me guess, I'm not going to be able to load the next level until I turn fraps off. Wonderful. Okay, let's turn fraps off, shall we? You don't get to see the wonderful level transitions because it doesn't work properly. Oh dear. Not a good start, I have to say. I'm also, I've got to admit, really bored. The whole thing smacks of generic. I mean, it really does. I want to say something kind about it, but it's like, well, you know, it's a decent shooter, but this is, I mean, there's not even any sense of motion. I mean, at least in a normal side-scroller, it's like, ooh, what am I going to see next? In here, you're stuck on a freaking platform. You go backwards and forwards, shooting anything that happens to be coming at you, and that's it. Is that really all there is to it? And then, of course, the computer bleeps at you for hitting the shift key too much. God knows why. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Oh, God. Oh, God. Wrong button. Wrong button. Buttons do take a little bit of getting used to, I have to say. There are some kind of weird systems within the game. There we go. Hammer that button. Hammer that button. And then explode for no reason. And I was so close to getting to the end of that. Does that reset the timer? Yes, it does. Yeah, you've got 3 lives, and then that's all there is to the game. I mean, there's 2 weapons. You can upgrade the weapons, which is kind of neat, I suppose, but I hate this idea of being stuck on a platform. I mean, it's just, it takes away all of the cool stuff about having a side-scrolling shooter, whereby it's like, ooh, what new enemies are they going to throw at me this time, and what cool environments, what am I going to see on the ground? Think about Jamestown, for instance. Think about how that scrolled through and you saw all that awesome stuff on the ground. And then look at this and just see barely anything, because you're stuck on this platform for a couple of minutes, and then you go to the next world, as they call it. I think calling it a world is rather overly generous, really. It's not a world, it's a freaking pinball table. Okay, I'll at least deal with these. I think, honestly, you don't even bother using the split shot for that. There we go, at least I'm sort of getting used to it. I'm just... It's a really Spartan game. I mean, even the music is Spartan. There's barely any of it. Sound effects are fairly basic. The weapons available also fairly basic. And yeah, you know, they do get a little bit more ridiculous as you go on, but they're still effectively the same gun. They just happen to be upgraded. And also, you can't fall off the platform because you will instantly die, by the way, if you hadn't already guessed. Should be a fairly predictable thing, honestly. Ah! Beep, beep, beep. God. I can't even load the menu, can it? Because Fraps is currently running. Oh, my lord. Right, okay. Cancel again. This is it. This is all there is to it, by the looks of it. Wow, I am unimpressed. My god. There are so many better shoot-em-ups than this. It doesn't help that it's a blatant port. Ooh, I've unlocked a challenge. Let's try that. Let's see what does this involve doing. Oh, yes, it involves turning Fraps off again. Yay! Apparently, this is some kind of challenge. What kind of challenge? What is it? Just get the highest score? It says pod challenge, doesn't even tell me what it is. What's the point in this? Oh, my god. This is going to be a very short WTF Is. It's fairly rare that I do things in a short manner, as you're well aware, but this game is awful. And I don't usually come out and just say this game is awful, but it is. I mean, it barely works, for one thing, which doesn't help. It's obviously a console port, as you can very clearly see from the menu right there. The game has lots of frame rate problems. Before I was even running Fraps, I turned the graphics options down. It still dipped below 60 FPS. It was hovering around 28 to 60. Please bear in mind the specs of my machine. I mean, my god, look at the specs of my machine and then tell me there isn't a problem there. I don't know what the issue is, but it's not even just down to the technical problems that this game obviously has. It's that it's utterly uninspired. I mean, this, I think, is why people like to sort of get aggressive about indie titles. Yeah, they say, oh, all indies are just platformers or basic shooters. This just encapsulates that idea. This is just such a dull experience. There's so little to it. It's such a lazy idea. That and the fact, I might add, that on Steam, it's 40% more expensive in the UK and the EU than it is in the US. In the US, it's $8. Here, it's £7.10, and it's, of course, €8 as well. I'm sorry, but this is just... I've seen freeware games that are far superior to this title, and I like to be a friend to indies, you know? I like to help indies out, but part of that also involves calling out when companies just blatantly throw something out there that is clearly not worth your money. Astro Tripper, beyond a shadow of a doubt, qualifies under that particular piece of criticism. In short, avoid like the plague. I don't see why you would want to play a game like this. I'm sorry, but there's nothing to it whatsoever. You want to do anything, play Jamestown. If you want a side-scroller, play Jamestown. Or in fact, if you want a game that's like this, play Really Big Sky, which is a much better game. Aside from that, I don't even know. I don't know who to recommend this to. I wouldn't inflict this on my worst enemy. I'll see you next time.